Hello, beautiful beings. I was just about ready to do my other hand. I do my own acrylics, and I'm feeling very compelled to record a video. Last weekend, I was at a graduation get together. Uh, Two of my oldest grandsons graduated. One graduated from high school, and one got his GED. One is 18 and one is 16. And so we had a celebration for them. And long story short, we put all the dogs in the backyard because they kept trying to escape out the front. And at one point, a bunch of little kids wanted to go in the backyard and play with all the dogs, which was awesome. So about 35 to 40 minutes went by, and I thought, I'm going to go check on Doozer. So there was a gate out in the front that overlooks the backyard, part of it. And so I peeked over that because I didn't want to bother Doozer. I didn't want him to see me if he was actually having fun and not crying at the door. He's a mama's boy. And so I peek over the gate, and I didn't hear him scratching at the back door. I didn't see him. So I went through the house, and I went to the dining room, and I didn't open the door. I didn't want to bug him. And I got up on the counter looking out this big window to the backyard and the back porch. And there's 4 wooden steps going down off of the porch onto concrete. And when I looked, I saw a little boy, he's I think 5 years old, holding Doozer. And Doozer had his harness on, and it has like white wings on it. And I was just like, oh my gosh, that's so sweet. This little boy really likes Doozer. And he was holding him around the waist, kind of, and Doozer was facing forward. And then moments after that, the little boy walked to the edge of the steps and threw him off as hard as he could. It was so shocking. So I ripped open the back door. I jumped off the counter, ripped open the back door. I was just like, oh my God, you just threw my dog down the stairs. And he was like, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. I mean, this little kid would not fess up. I said, I watched you throw my dog off the stairs. You threw him intentionally. No, I didn't. No, I accidentally dropped him because one of the dogs scared me. I said, there's no other dogs around you. No. I said, I know what I saw. I'll try to give you the benefit of the doubt. And I had Doozer, and I was checking him out. I was so scared that he broke a little leg bone, or, his neck or his head or something. And I couldn't find anything wrong with him. It was really surprising. Anyway, long story short, the dad didn't want to believe that his son did that. Well, he's usually really good with animals. Well, he wasn't today. I watched him. I said, and I stayed calm. I didn't react. I was just like, there's that man logic again jumping in there. Well, he, instead of just hearing me. So I said, and I told him exactly what I did, how I had a clear view of him, and how I watched him literally throw my dog off the stairs. And so he's just like, oh, okay. And well, my oldest daughter was there. It was her house. And she said, well, I'm going to have a talk with him. And so he came in moments later, and that's how it got brought up. Is she didn't doubt me for a second. Other people tend to think, because I'm emotional and because I'm expressive, then it's just me. People think I'm, I don't know, crazy or something. But I personally feel like unconscious people are very crazy. Anyway, so I brought him home, and well, I took him up on one of my favorite hikes, just to, see him running around, see if he was okay. And he seemed absolutely fine. But if you've ever hurt your back or something, you know that it's not till the next day that it really starts hurting. Well, the next day, I didn't have to work the next day. The next day, I picked him up, and he yiped. And I was just like, oh my gosh, what is it? And I was checking his neck out, and I could not find what it was. So I took him for a walk down the road, and I saw that he had a little diarrhea on his butt. And I was just like, Ancients, please tell me, show me what's wrong with him. Is he internally bleeding? Like, what's happening? And they had me zero in on his butt. And there was like a bald spot on the left-hand side, right on the very back. And I was just like, oh my gosh. And I stopped right away and looked, and there was a really big contusion on his butt, and it was nasty. It was so nasty looking. And I was just like, oh my gosh, you poor thing, you probably broke your butt. Well, so I took him to the vet. It was that was on Sunday then, and so I took him to the vet on Monday morning. Well, the Sunday night, he was just like, it was driving him absolutely crazy. His butt was, and then all of a sudden it started bleeding. Oh, sorry if I'm making you faint. It almost feel faint. It almost made me faint when it was happening. There was so much blood, and I was just like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, what do I do? But then it stopped. I got a cold compress and put it on there, and it stopped. So I brought him to the vet the next day, and a blessing in disguise. When the little boy threw him off the stairs, he landed right on his butt, and Doozer had a what was it? It was a, this is kind of TMI, but it was a, sorry, I'm trying to think. Ancients, what was it? It was a really infected anal gland that was inside, and the doctor said that it was really big. And she said normally you'd have to do surgery on those, but since he landed on his butt, it ruptured inside of him. That's what the blood was from. So she fixed him up, and he's on antibiotics and anti-inflammatory, and I have him on chicken and rice, so he can go to the bathroom easier. And I'm giving him Epsom saltwater baths, and he is healing up really, really well. But I wouldn't have known because you couldn't see it. It was inside. It wasn't obstructing any of his business because I watch him go to the bathroom at times just to make sure that everything's okay, doesn't have worms or whatever. And he had no signs. It was an abscess. It was abscessed. Thank you. And so, I mean, that, what a blessing that he landed right there. So I don't know when I'm gonna, it's human nature though to be scared like that, because everything is always working out so incredibly well for me that I wonder sometimes why I even get upset. But he's my little dog, and it was very scary. So, and also the parents of the kid, they got him to confess that he actually did it, and he came up to me and she said he wants to say something to you, and he said, I'm sorry for throwing your dog off the stairs. I was just like, thank you so much. I'm so proud of you for telling the truth. That's really not that easy. And then Doozer and I were going to leave pretty soon after that because there was like 35 or 40 people there, and I don't really like to be around really big crowds like that. And so we were leaving, and also I wanted to really check him out, and they approached my window and tapped on the glass, and the mom said, yeah, Doozer, my son really wants to say he's sorry to Doozer. He feels really bad. So he did, and they paid for the x-rays. And then I paid for the other part of the vet bill, because it had nothing to do with the accident. And I was really grateful that they paid for the x-rays though. So, blessing in disguise. My twin has been very, very active lately. I've done a lot of work over the last 6 years specifically to not have any resistance to him constantly being in my energy field every single day, all night, all the time. It's like almost like having a Siamese twin energetically. And I've gotten to the place where recently it has felt, in the last couple months, it has really felt like when he comes in, and it's several times a day, every single day. But now when he's been coming in, he's more out on my peripheral instead of like right here, actually feeling like he's a part of my body. And that shows progress to me, because it's really the only way that I could have a happy life with somebody else, or just period, a more peaceful life. Because it's invasive, and if it feels like the person is just taking from me energetically, then that's not life-giving at all. And also when he comes in so clearly, there's also really good feelings attached, and visions, especially when he's turned towards me and he's having like a lucid moment and really trusting his intuition. He's getting visions too. He's getting signs about me all day, every day, song after song on the radio, dreams. I don't know how else he's getting signs, but then the fear will take over, and I can feel that also, the withdrawal. There's not as much resistance as there used to be from him, because he used to be very angry about the whole thing and was blaming me, thinking that I cast a spell on him or was doing something to him, which I haven't been at all. It's been just as hard for me. But my greatest teacher to be where I am now. But recently, especially in the last week, I would say last week and a half, when he comes in, thoughts of him come in, it just feels like just so much love. It feels very, very life-giving. And then the visions of our life, if we were together on this earth plane, I automatically and always have, even when we were still in each other's presence, when I worked for him and we were just best friends, I had many waves of illumination about what our life would look like if we were together. And those have been so clear lately. But I feel like it's kind of a test for me also to see if I will go with those thoughts and get really excited about it. I'm not. I like the feeling of love that it gives me when he's fully faced towards me and not resisting me. It's so life-giving. It's the purest love I've ever felt from a man, for sure. It's not just in any old connection either. It's very divine. But it's up to, I finally got to the place in myself where if we're not supposed to be together in the physical, that is absolutely for my highest good. And if it's for my highest good, then it's for the highest good of humanity. My mind said for a long time, or I know, I just felt that if we were together on the earth plane together, we would just be this power plant of love, and it would just radiate out to people and help heal humanity. And we'd hold song together, for people and, with people. I don't, yeah, hypothetically speaking, if we did get together, he's not quite at the place yet that he would be the one holding song with people. We would be holding song together, but he's not quite ready for that yet to, hold it with other people. Yeah. They're saying that he always has in a certain way, because I did notice that about him when I was around him, how people really felt at ease with him, and he had a level of confidence with people. Also, he wouldn't put up with crap, but that's kind of went down the drain a little bit, because this has been a very, very intense lesson that we've been going through together, and it can really do a number on the ego identity, which it's supposed to. And it tends to break us down to bare bones, they're saying, so we can be rebuilt into who we're meant to be. And that is releasing a lot of fear. So it takes a while to be able to trust a person's intuition. And I just feel like I can do that better than I ever have. When I'm speaking to you, my mind is so quiet. I'm going to put in the description box what I listened to last night. There's just something about this woman that has been brought into my life recently. Her voice, what she reads, it goes right to my heart space, which I feel, that's where I feel presence. I also see when I'm it's hard for me to say when I'm present, because that's my own true nature, is presence. But let's just, when I turn my attention to presence, to no thought, I'm not really seeing what's in front of my eyes. And at times I have seen my whole body in presence, suspended in presence. The whole world also. Yes, so I'm going to put that in the description box, what I've been listening to. And if you would like to have some help learning how to trust your intuition, which is divine guidance, people hear their intuition every single day of their lives, even if they don't think so. It's the same as me hearing the ancients. It's all divine guidance. And I used to just cry and cry because I wanted to hear that guidance so desperately. And now it's second nature. It's second nature because it is our nature to be able to hear that. And the more I trust my intuition, the easier life gets. It gets easier and easier and easier. I'm moving out of here on July, 30 days in September, April, June, and November. On June 30th is my last day here, and I have no idea where I'm going. Not specifically, but I'm feeling that it's going to be a very loving place, a very nurturing place, a very relaxed and peaceful place, a very life-giving place. And the way that I am receiving this is to, anytime the thought of it comes in, I turn my attention right to presence. And, people may say, well, that's just ignoring the problem or the situation. Well, how are you going to find a place if you don't think about it? If I am supposed to look on Craigslist or in a newspaper or put it out there on Facebook or whatever, I'm compelled to do it. But it's not thinking that I need to be doing. It's being immersed in presence. That's how I'm receiving the most beautiful place that I've ever lived. The days of the last 10 years of being brought to somewhere where there's just yet really more and more difficult lessons, those are over. One reason is because I basically mastered all those lessons that I needed to learn in that certain way, in those certain ways. But the other reason that I know that I'm going somewhere beautiful and peaceful is because I am not settling. I am not settling out of a sense of desperation, even if it gets down to 3 days before I have to move. If somebody goes, hey, there's this place, and if there's a man alcoholic there, basically a man, if there's a single man that lives there, I won't move there. I just feel way too uncomfortable being around a man because they just look at me in a way that it just makes my skin crawl, and I refuse to live like that anymore. And this guy this landlord / roommate, he has cameras up, and I just feel like I've been watched. He told me where 2 of them are, but the whole time I've lived here this last year, I feel like there's way more than 2 cameras. Like I'm standing and looking out my bedroom window right now, and there's I'll just show you. And there's his garage door right there. And I've always felt, and this is where I stand to put my makeup on and, just look out. And I've been seeing hummingbirds lately. They come and look in my window. That's a sign, definitely a sign of divine love. They're saying, yeah. And right now I feel like I'm being watched. And he had to legally tell me that he has cameras up in the front and in the backyard. Legally, you did. And I said, oh, really? Like, do you just get snippets? Or he was like, nope, I can bring it right up on my phone and watch live feed. Great. So I am not going to settle. I will not live with alcoholics. I will not live with, no, I absolutely know the red flags immediately. And so I trust my intuition implicitly, which is very exciting. satsongwithmamaG@gmail.com. And we would love to talk to you about learning how to trust your intuition. It makes life so much easier, and especially doing it with somebody, learning with somebody. So here's an example. Moonstar and we have been working together for over 3 years now. And when we started working together, she couldn't hear her guides at all. She barely knew what it meant to trust her intuition, to hear her intuition, which is basically the same thing. And now she says we, because she's channeling she calls them her ancients. Anybody can channel the ancients. That's basically what guides are. The ancients are beings that I don't even have a clue about, etheric beings. They're all good though. It's all good, all divine love, all divine guidance for us. And ancients are also any being that has expressed in a physical form any form of consciousness that is expressed on the physical plane and helped humanity in a very large way, has come back over and over and over until it was finally over. And what does finally over mean? I don't know. It just means not coming back here unconscious ever again. Yeah, life does get better and better. There's a lot of fear to wade through, but it's worth it. Love you so much.